Hi everyone, and welcome to Algebra 1. This is Chapter 5, Section 1, Rate of Change and Slope. First thing we want to do is we want to talk about the slope formula. Now, they don't mention it in the book, but the slope formula has the symbol of the letter M. And the formula is, let me write it here for you, it is a fraction, and you have the second y value in the second point, and then the y value in the first point. See how we've got y subscript 2 minus y subscript 1. And then we take the x values, which are the numbers in front of the point, and we do x2, so it's the x value in the second point, minus the x value in the first point. And the first thing I always do when they present me with a problem like this example here is I actually label the first and second points and which one is the x and the y value. So my first point here is 2, 4. The x value is my x value in the first point, so I'm going to label it x subscript 1. The 4 is the y subscript 1. It's the y value in the first point. Now let's have a look at the second point. It has parentheses x comma 8. So since it's a second point, x actually is x2. Yay! And then the 8 is y subscript 2. So there, I've labeled my points. Now I'm actually going to put them into the slope formula. Now, since m is negative 2, I'm going to put negative 2 in the left of the formula. So it replaces the m. You can see that right there. The y2, if you have a look at the way we've labeled things, the y2 is the 8. And then we're going to use the minus from the original formula, and then I'm going to plug in y1, which is our value of 4. So see how I'm replacing the values? Now, x2 in this particular example is just x. Oh, that was easy. We use the negative or the minus sign that's in the original formula, and then I have x1 value to put in this spot down the bottom, so that's 2. So let's simplify this a little bit. I've got negative 2 equals, I can figure out what 8 minus 4 is, so that's 4 over, now notice what I'm doing here, I'm putting the x minus 2 group in parentheses. Now, how am I going to solve this when the x is in the denominator? Well, it's quite simple really. All we need to do is put the 1 underneath the negative 2 and cross multiply. So what I have now is I have negative 2 in front of x minus 2 group equals 4 times 1. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can solve this. You can distribute, then add 4 to both sides and divide by 2. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll distribute, we get negative 2x. Watch those signs, a negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4 equals 4. Then I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And if we just move over here, I'll get negative 2x equals 0. And then all I have to do is divide by negative 2. So my missing number that works so that we have these 2 points is 0. So my point that my x is 0, 8. Yay! So that's not so bad, is it? Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how do you tell if different points are on the same line? Well, the way we label a point is we use a capital letter. So let me just think of a little example here. Let's say you've got A is 1, 3. You've got B is the point 4, 2. And then C is the point negative 2, 4. If I can prove that these two, A and B, have the same slope as B and C, then if those slopes are the same, then they have to be on the same line. So I'm going to do the first slope. So let's call that M subscript 1. M subscript 1 is y2 minus y1 over, now let's look, the second point is 4, so it's x2 minus, what's the x in the first point? That's right, 1. So if we figure this out now, I get negative 1 over 3. So the slope between point A and B is negative 1/3. Okay, so now I'm going to go over here and figure out what the slope is between B and C. So the second slope, that's why I'm doing slope subscript 2, is, let's do the y2, which is 4, minus the y1, which is 2 this time, over, look, my x1 is negative 2 minus, and what's my x1 over there? 4 this time. So I've got 2 over top of negative 2 minus another 4 is negative 6. Now if I simplify this, oh look, it simplifies to negative 1/3. Because they have that point B in common, we can say yes, these points are on the same line. Oh, so that's kind of nice, isn't it? Points are on the same line. You can even go one step further and find the slope between points A and C, but again, I think you'll find that they have the same slope of negative 1/3. Well, thanks for listening, and let me know if you have any questions by starting a discussion, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.